Hey, Tom Rabbit! I hope you got this for your recording. Hey, YouTube out there. Tom Rabbit likes to record these. Hey, Tom Rabbit! And it wasn't like I didn't give him numerous warnings.
I think Smokey Saint is in the room. I hope you block him, Darth.
Enemy spotted.
Yeah, Smokey Saint, can you please explain to me how Cornelius Van Til was a degenerate? Because you publicly called him a degenerate. You called me a degenerate. How am I a degenerate? See, no answer.
That might.
He's too afraid. I mean,
Yeah,
I like.
This is the kind. No, I don't like him. Okay, because he's
not
unhinged.
Smokey.
Yeah, I'm still waiting, Smokey Saint. You categorically and boldly asserted that Cornelius Van Til was a degenerate.
Can we not do that right now?
No, you made a public accusation against a very famous, widely liked and beloved theologian, and I would like to know on what basis you asserted. You said that I was a degenerate, and you said that Cornelius Van Til was a degenerate. I'd like you to explain whether you were being rational or not.
Sure. I'll give my 3 points. That's fine. So Cornelius Van Til had a tendency to communicate in a very, I guess you would say, disingenuous way by changing philosophical definitions, which made his teachings to be very.
Where did you get that from? Where did you get that from?
Well, there's a lot of his critics and stuff that are trying to pick apart.
What critics? What critics? Listen, let's have a conversation here. Let's have a conversation here. Let's have a conversation here. Let's not you go unhinged like you have before. Now, I'm familiar with a number of Cornelius Van Til's more prominent critics, okay? Like R.C. Sproul, John Warwick Montgomery. Okay, can you cite any of them by name who said that he was himself being disingenuous by using certain terminology? So, for example, Cornelius Van Til referred to God as the concrete universal. It's terminology that was used within idealism. But Cornelius Van Til explained what he meant by that. So how is Cornelius Van Til a degenerate because he uses terminology or certain labeling, and then he explains what he means by that? How does that make him a degenerate?
Well, no, he rewrote terminology. So like he kind of recreated his own definition.
How does that make him a degenerate? I've read several biographies of Cornelius Van Til, and even people who were some of his strongest critics. No one even suggested that in any way or in any sense he was a degenerate. Everyone that knew him, even people who disagree with him, considered that he was a godly man. Even Gordon Clark, okay, who he had a fallout with, didn't publicly call him a degenerate. But you, being the genius that you are, said that he's a degenerate. So I want to know, so far you have failed, okay, to demonstrate that he's a degenerate.
You won't let me finish my 3 points.
Go ahead.
3 points. That was just the first point.
Well, the first one was a fail. It was a concrete facial.
Terminology.
Doesn't make him a degenerate.
Okay. All right. Well, let me keep going.
Also, do you agree, before you go on, do you realize that was a major fail?
No, not really. No.
Okay, so using certain terms and then redefining them in a Christian theological sense does not make does not necessitate one as a degenerate, does it?
Not by itself, no.
Good. So you have failed in your first point.
I have other points, Darth. That was just
okay. Did you fail? Everything. Did you fail? Okay. I don't want anyone who is going to talk except for Smokey Saint. You're going to get server muted. Now, either you failed in your first point or you didn't. Which is it?
I didn't, because it's only the first point.
Explain. No, listen to me carefully. Does him using a couple of terms or nomenclature from the world of philosophy and redefining it with biblical theology, how does that make him a degenerate?
Because misusing philosophical terms and then posturing.
Who says he's misusing them? Where'd you get that from?
Well, it's the exact reason why people like you, Darth, have such a hard time sifting out the deeper nuances
Do
of
you
his
have
philosophy.
do you
Because it's
have a
very
do you have an
confusing.
example? Do you have an example where he misuses terminology?
Well, I did a video on
Have
this.
you
In
re-
fact,
have you read any of his
I didn't
books?
come in here to talk about
Could you
this. So
could you tell
I just
me could you tell me are there any of his books that you have read?
yes, Darth. Yes, we've been over this. I've read, and I
What
even
book
read the book you sent me.
what books of his have you what books of it listen to me.
You
You're
remember
failing.
Navarro?
You are
Remember you sent me
failing
the
me. You
Navarro?
are not, listen to me. You are not speaking to me. You are talking past me. What specific books of Van Til have you read?
You know what, Darth? I don't recall because it's been a hot minute since
Oh,
I
so
even
you
tried to
haven't read any of
because
his
I
books.
think it's a
So
joke.
could you tell
I
me
have memories,
which
Darth.
of Van Til? Okay, please don't
I just
overtalk me.
I didn't see him
Please,
as a
what you're beginning to go into a meltdown like the last time we had an encounter together. Now, could you tell me which of Van Til's critics by name who cites that he did this reprehensible act that would be deserving of calling him a degenerate? Who is that critic?
Darth, again, I have it in that video. I didn't come in here to discuss this, so I didn't bring my
Okay,
sources with me. 'Cause I didn't come to discuss
who did you read that cited he so grossly abused and
Darth, I have
misused
a
certain
video where I put it
terminology?
up.
So
Weren't
you don't
interested
have an
in
answer, do
I'm
you?
not going to do this here. I came in
You-
here to answer your question
Okay.
about Neff
Yeah,
being anti-Semitic.
you're
That's what
not
I'm doing.
answering. See, this is what you did last time. You're going
I have
into a
no
mini
interest in this
meltdown.
topic, Darth.
Now,
You are obsessed
do
with Van
you have a
Til.
name? Okay, you said his
You're obsessed
critics.
if you see him like a
Okay,
Messiah.
please don't overtalk me. I don't want to have to server meet you. Maybe that's what you want. So then you can claim that you were shut down. Right? Now, what critic by name has cited this egregious act of Van Til abusing or deceitfully using certain terminology?
I didn't
Who?
commit the name to memory.
Oh, so you don't know? You have no idea where you got it from?
Sure, I didn't bring my sources.
Okay, so what specific terminology that you could cite for us would
Again, Darth,
indicate
I did it in a
absolute
video over a
dishonesty?
month
What
ago.
could you tell us? What
I said
terminology?
video.
I'm
Let's
waiting.
go with that.
I'm waiting for you to tell me what terminology that did Cornelius Van Til so vastly abused that he would be deserving of to be
believe,
called
if
a
memory
degenerate.
serves, one of the things was the philosophical concept of essence. I believe that was one of the philosophical terminologies that he perverted. Again, I'd have to go.
Well, no, there are different. No, it's not
Instead of
perverted
looking
because
for stuff.
there is not a monolith of view on the term essence. There's a spectrum
Well,
of understanding
actually,
it.
there is a
Now,
philosophical
so you failed on the first charge to
Wait,
say
you're
that he
saying
was a
there isn't a
degenerate.
philosophical definition of essence?
Okay,
Is that what you're saying?
okay. Listen to me. Is there a monolith of the definition of essence?
There is a philosophical definition of it. Yes,
Is there
I
a
don't know.
Okay,
Listen,
and so where did Cornelius Van Til misuse this? Could you what work?
well, Darth, again, did it in a video.
I
Didn't bring
have
sources to discuss
I
this.
have
Wasn't
on
part of
my
the discussion.
computer. I have on my computer right now. Okay, I have almost all of Cornelius Van Til's books, almost all of them.
Tell you what.
So in which book?
In defending the
Okay.
faith, did he say that this is nuclear strength apologetics and that this replaces all evidentiary apologetics?
Okay, so you're changing the subject?
No, I'm trying to point out again. Your whole
How
thing
does
is
saying it is okay?
misusing terminology?
Listen to me. Talking fast is just making you look bad. How is that? Where did okay? If Van Til said nuclear strength, how does that show that he's abusing some term of essence?
You know, again, Darth, I don't have all of these references in front of me. I know you worship them, but I don't.
I don't worship him. I have a deep appreciation for his brilliance. And in fact, I disagree. Hold on a second. You made another false accusation, which you are prone to do. I do not worship. Okay, hold on a second. Shut up or you're going to be temporarily server muted. You made another false accusation. You falsely accused him of being a degenerate. You accused me of being a degenerate. Now you accuse me of worshiping him. Okay, Cornelius Van Til is a staunch Calvinist. I am not a staunch Calvinist. Now, there are other people in here who have heard me talk about Cornelius Van Til, quite a bit. Tonlock, did you ever get the impression in all the conversations that you have listened to that I idolized or worshipped Cornelius Van Til?
No, sir, never.
Anyone else in here who's a regular, who's heard me invoke from time to time what appreciation I do have for Van Til, the theologian and philosopher, I have never, you are the only person that I've ever encountered who has accused me of worshiping Cornelius Van Til. What do you base that accusation on? Okay,
Well,
listen carefully. Listen carefully. I will shut up momentarily. What evidence do you have that I worship Cornelius Van Til?
Well, this right now is a pretty good example because I can't show up without you demanding.
This is a total Hindenburg disaster for you. Me calling you on the carpet for your egregious accusation of calling a what has been widely known by everyone who knew him, even his critics, considered him an immensely impeccable and godly man. Okay? Even Gordon Clark, in my biased opinion, would vehemently disagree with you that he was a degenerate. So you have no basis. Okay, so your first charge fell onto the concrete. Okay, that he misused terms. Do you have any other line of reasoning? Because that reasoning didn't hold water. What's your second line of reasoning that he was a degenerate?
I'll just leave it alone because you're not going to listen anymore.
No, I'm listening right now. What is your second charge that he's a degenerate?
And that Cornelius Van Til is a complete degenerate because his critics admit the fact that he misuses philosophical terms.
We've already discussed that, and you failed to substantiate that. Do you have any second line of reasoning? Do you have any other second line of reasoning? You said there was more. The first line of reasoning, you failed miserably. Do you have a second line of reasoning that Cornelius Van Til was a degenerate?
Sure. He presents the idea that this method is better than every other apologetic method that's ever been created and replaces all of them.
No, that's simply false. Did I send you a copy? Okay. Did I send you a copy of the book? Hold on a second.
Greg Navarro. Yes, I did, and I read it. And he was trying very
I didn't hear what you said.
Yes, I read the book by Greg Navarro that you sent me, and I did notice.
Did you? Because his name is not Greg Navarro.
Okay, well, something Navarro. I forgot. I guess I forget the first name.
No. His name is Tom Notaro.
Oh, Notaro. Okay, all right.
Yeah. Oh, so you read it. Now, if you read that book, what you would find out is Van Til is not opposed whatsoever to the use of evidences. Now, Greg Bonson has commented on this, and in the book, Notaro points out that Van Til fully support the use of historical evidences in defense of the faith.
Where?
Insofar, let me finish. I am telling you, I have read Van Til's books. Greg Bonson has made the same statement I'm about to give you. Notaro says the same thing in his book. He is fully supportive of presenting evidences, historical evidences to support the Christian faith, as long as they do not cater to an unbeliever's false belief or allow the unbeliever to think that they're operating under autonomous reasoning. So when you said that Van Til was guilty of misrepresenting certain philosophical terms, you are guilty of misrepresenting Van Til's view on evidentiary support for the faith.
I haven't wanted to become a Van Til expert or spend all of my time researching Van Til.
But you're an expert enough to call him a degenerate.
Yeah, no, I've seen enough to believe he's a degenerate apologist. Yeah, that I believe. Yeah.
How is he? Yeah, and how is he a degenerate? How
You
is he
think
a degenerate?
okay. Do you admit that he did kind of fudge philosophical terms or no? Like a lot of his critics kind of unanimously come
No,
together.
many of these people were not careful readers. Okay, and because
So it's their
Cornelius
fault.
Van Til, listen carefully. Listen to me carefully. Listen to me carefully. You've read squat diddly from primary sources about Van Til. I have read primary sources. Even one of his best students, okay, Greg Bonson and John Frame have pointed out that English was not his first language. Okay. And he wasn't always clear about certain things. However, he would always explain these terms, like, for example, when he said concrete universal. Okay. Now, the fact of the matter is, what is the issue at hand? The issue at hand is you are accusing this man who, by all accounts of everyone who knew him, was a godly man. You are indicting him as a degenerate. You haven't provided one iota of support that he was a degenerate. So your first line of reasoning was a fail. What's your second line of reasoning that he was a degenerate?
Well, you kind of admitted that it was a second language, so
Okay,
maybe he
Smokey Saint, we're not going to rehash your first
So-
line of reasoning because that was a fail. Now, you said you had multiple lines of reasoning that he was a degenerate. What is your second line of reasoning that he was a
I already
degenerate?
gave it to you. It was the idea that this is the end all be all apologetics. And
That
yeah, Greg
you are no. What he's saying is
Van
we have
Til
to
was-
start. No, what you are misrepresenting. Is it degeneracy to say that we have to start with the revelation of God versus catering or accepting the autonomous reason of man? Because I just gave you a true dichotomy.
Yeah, Darth, I think I had a conversation. You know what? Whatever I say, you're going to disagree with, and have
I
an
asked
issue
you a
with.
question, sir.
Yeah, I know, Darth, but the thing is, I didn't even come here to talk about this.
I don't care what you came for. I'm holding you accountable for your public accusations. Okay.
Was an apologist and a philosopher, and
Yeah, he said that
led a
our
bunch of people like
foundational
you
principle must be
believe
to
that
start with the revelation of God rather than start with the proclaimed
Can I have 60
autonomy
seconds?
of the human mind. Now,
Can I
listen
just
carefully
get
to what I'm
60
saying.
seconds to
Listen
talk
carefully
about
to what I'm saying. Listen carefully to what I'm saying. Do you disagree with the idea that we must start with the revelation of God rather than the autonomous reason of man?
No, I disagree with that.
Okay, good. So guess what? So now you are anti-biblical because here's the problem. You can't invoke anything unless it's revelatory. Okay, so you believe that we can start with the autonomous reason of man and then reason outward, rather than when we have proximate starting points such as sense perception and our self-consciousness, that we recognize that this is revelatory of God. So your position is we start with the autonomous reason of man?
I don't think humankind, by nature of a subjective agency, has any other starting reference point. Yeah,
Okay,
correct.
okay. So you are grotesquely unbiblical at this point because autonomous reasoning means that whatever proximate starting point that we start with, such as sense perception and human consciousness, that we do not start that it is revelatory of God. So your human consciousness and sense perception, from your point of view, is not revelatory of God?
I guess.
Well, you've now contradicted yourself.
Well, Darth, I don't really understand your question sometimes either.
Well, you see, but you know what you don't understand? You claim to be a critic of Cornelius Van Til, and I have to walk you through this like a first grader because you don't understand Cornelius Van Til. You probably only read. Let me ask you this question: other than Dan Story's diatribe against Van Til, what other author that is a strong critic of Van Til have you read?
Trethwy, I think is his name.
Who?
Dr. Trethwy did a critique
Yeah,
of him.
could you send me that name in a text message so I
Sure.
can copy and look that up?
Right now.
Okay, now, what is your second line of reasoning that Cornelius Van Til is a degenerate?
No, I already did it. We've already done it now 3 times.
No, you just contradicted yourself because you said it's okay to start with the autonomous reasoning of man versus we're starting with the revelation of God. You just contradicted yourself.
So, do you need evidences to say that the revelation?
Did you contradict yourself?
Do you need evidences to?
Did you contradict yourself?
I don't see that I did.
Okay, did you not say that we must start with the autonomous reasoning of man?
I don't think there's any other starting point for
Okay,
man.
all right, so let's go through this again to show you how you contradicted yourself. Now, okay?
Let's go through this the 20th time, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, if you want to heckle, you're going to get permanently server muted, okay? If you don't like what you're hearing, I'm not talking to you right now, Smokey. I'm talking to that other a-hole, right? If you want to heckle and be a drive-by, you're gonna get server muted, okay? Now,
Darth, can I
when we start with our sense perception and self-consciousness, those proximate facts will either be from the get-go, be deemed to be revelatory of God, or not. Which is your position?
My position as a Christian has a presupposition that all of these facts are found in God or extend from God.
You're not answering my question.
Not an atheist, so
you're not answering my question.
All right.
When we start with the proximate facts of sense perception and self-consciousness, we will either take. Okay, would you let me finish, please?
No,
I know your tactic. Now, when we start with our self-consciousness and sense perception, it will either be revelatory of God, meaning that these proximate facts are taken from the beginning to be creaturely, or not. So when you start with your proximate facts of sense perception and self-consciousness, do you say that we must adopt from the get-go that they are creaturely or not?
Yeah, Darth, I'm sorry. I'm really trying here. I'm not understanding what you're trying to actually ask.
When you start with your self-consciousness and sense perception as proximate starting points, we have a dichotomy here. Those proximate starting points will either be started with being acknowledged that they are creaturely, meaning that they are revelatory of and indicative of God as creator, or not. Which is your position?
Well, my position, yes, is that they are revelatory of God.
Good. You've now contradicted yourself.
Why?
Because you insisted that we have to start from autonomous reasoning. Autonomous reasoning does not listen. I have to explain it to you because your ignorance is on full display. You said in here. I'll just keep on talking until you stop. You said in here that we must start from autonomous reasoning. Did you not say that?
Yeah. Okay. I don't see how there's
autonomous reasoning. Autonomous reasoning stands in antithesis to reckoning our proximate facts as creaturely. Are we clear on that?
How, when he gave us the creaturely essence that allows us to
listen to me. You're not. Listen to me. You're doing what you always do. It is nonstop filibustering. I keep on asking you very clear questions, and you keep on evading them every single time. Okay. Now, when we listen to me, you're not talking to me. You're talking past me. This is a desperate attempt to put up a smokescreen. How appropriate it's fitting with your name. Now, you said that we have to start with autonomous reasoning. Autonomous reasoning stands in antithesis to recognizing that our proximate facts are creaturely. So either we start with proximate facts being creaturely and revelatory of God, or we start with autonomous thinking. You said we must start from autonomous thinking. Is that correct?
Maybe you need to define autonomous. Maybe I'm not understanding.
I already explained it to you earlier that autonomous reasoning is we do not start with proximate facts that are reckoned to be creaturely and revelatory of God.
So we don't start with a priori facts?
So you don't understand, you didn't have a previous understanding about autonomous reasoning then, did you?
Well, can't we start with a priori facts?
I asked you a question. The term autonomous reasoning.
Yeah,
okay?
I get it. Again, I just think
did you understand it? Did you understand autonomy or autonomous reasoning prior to me explaining it to you?
Sure I did. Then you kept putting it in this
Good. So
dichotomy.
you stated that we must start with autonomous reasoning, right?
Aren't you appealing to their autonomous reasoning?
Okay, listen to me very carefully. You see, folks, this is what a pathological deceiver that this lowlife is. He doesn't want to have an adult to an adult conversation here. Now, you stated that Cornelius Van Til, okay, would the moderators please server mute anyone who talks who's not Smokey Saint?
Goodness, I feel honored.
Okay, or discipline them, kick them out for several days. Okay. Now, you categorically stated that we must start with autonomous reasoning as opposed to what Van Til says, that we have to start even with proximate facts that are reckoned to be revelatory of God or creaturely. You said that we should not do that. Okay, that is your position. Now, well, autonomous reasoning means that it starts that these proximate facts are not creaturely. Are we clear?
Okay, what do you mean by creaturely?
Oh, so you don't know. You're a critic of Cornelius Van Til, and you don't even understand the basic concepts that he puts forth?
You explain it to me because you're the expert.
No, but you told me, but you're the one who calls him a degenerate because he says that the biblical presuppositionalism is nuclear strength. And in fact, I don't recall that he said it's nuclear strength. I believe it was probably Greg Bonson.
Well, Greg Bonson may have coined the term.
The point is simply this. You have not made any case whatsoever so far that Cornelius Van Til was a degenerate.
Well, I guess if Art declares it, it's the case. All right, whatever.
Oh, no.
I think
okay, hold on. Has anyone in here who's not a troll, and if you troll, okay, you're going to be kicked from the room. Okay?
If you disagree, you're a troll.
No, the point is this. No, there are people in here who will love just to disagree. Is there anyone in here who is fully convinced that Smokey Saint made a legitimate case that Cornelius Van Til so far was a degenerate?
Well, Darth, I'll agree with you with one thing. I don't think he worshipped Van Til because
no, I'm not interested. Shut up. Okay, I didn't ask you to give me your appraisal. Okay, did Smokey Saint in any way demonstrate so far that Cornelius Van Til was a degenerate?
Yeah, you as his acolyte being as confusing as this.
No, you have failed more miserably than the Hindenburg. Now,
well, if
do you have any other line of rationale that Cornelius Van Til was a degenerate?
Well, you seem like you're not going to listen to the rest anyway, so I'll just...
No, I was listening to you, but I was offering counter arguments, and you even shot yourself in the foot because you said we must not start with our creaturely status at square one. That is your position, right?
I feel like we have to, even if you're a Christian. So this is where
your position that at square one with our proximate starting points that they are not and should not be reckoned as creaturely?
Yeah, again, we have creaturely habits, which is
I'm not hearing a clear answer to my question.
Well, Darth, you don't even let me respond. I don't know.
No, because you're filibustering. Must we start with proximate facts, which are held to be not creaturely?
Must we start with facts that are held to be not creaturely? No. I'm going to go with no on that.
Good. You've now contradicted yourself.
You keep saying that, and I don't see
That's
it.
right, because Cornelius Van Til said we must start in our apologetic. He says we must start in our apologetic, never compromising the central doctrines of the faith. And the first and foremost is our creed. Okay, if you continue to overtalk me, I'm going to server mute. Good, you've now been server muted. You have contradicted yourself, because all that Van Til was saying is that we must start with our creatureliness, because everything in the world reveals God. Romans 1. Ever since the beginning of the world, God's eternal powers have been clearly seen through everything that has been made, so that men are without excuse. Now, is Romans 1 declaring that all of the proximate facts around us are indicative of God?
Yes.
So that means then that Romans 1 is saying that we start with proximate facts that are indicative that we're creaturely. Yeah, all Van Til is saying is we must not start in our apologetic by appealing to the false beliefs of unbelievers, and that false belief is their autonomy, that they are not creaturely. So when we appeal to an unbeliever, okay, should we appeal to their belief that they are, and build on that they are creaturely or not creaturely?
Well, yes, I would cling on the idea that we are all creaturely. Again, I'm not sure if I know.
No, you're not addressing the question. You just sidestepped the question. When we appeal to the unbeliever with our apologetic, do we appeal to them first and foremost to their being creaturely from the get-go, or do we appeal to them with reasoning that builds on top of their starting point that they are not creaturely?
Oh, I think I see what you're saying. Okay, I see, because creaturely, I was thinking you were talking about fleshly or just composed of simply.
No, sir, I made myself very clear this whole time that creaturely means that it is derivative of and reflective and revelatory of God.
Okay, yes. I would say that we cannot always operate with a secularist.
No, sir. Cornelius Van Til's position is that when we present evidences, we do not start presenting evidences by appealing to their autonomous reason, which means that first and foremost, that they are not creaturely, meaning they are not a creation of God.
That was actually my point of how he said it replaces all apologetics, because you
no, sir, no, you're not addressing the game. You are a fundamentally deceitful person, and you have the balls to call a godly man with an impeccable character like Cornelius Van Til degenerate, and this whole time you have been failing more miserably than the atheists do defending their atheism. Now, so is it wrong when Van Til says we must not present evidences that start with and build upon the false belief that the unbeliever is not creaturely? So when we present evidences, do we present evidences that are starting that they are creaturely, or do we present evidences that start that they are not creaturely?
Well, we prevent evidences that they are creaturely.
Answer the dichotomy, sir.
Well, I just did. We do present evidences based upon the idea that they are creatures of God. So
good. You've now contradicted yourself again.
Why?
Because you said that Cornelius Van Til was wrong in his apologetic, okay, in biblical presuppositionalism. Well, yeah, because in biblical presuppositionalism we do not present evidences that appeal to or build upon fundamental false beliefs of unbelievers. That is Van Til's position. Do you object to that? Do you object to that?
No, because no one does that.
Good. You've now contradicted yourself again. Now, do you have any other line of reasoning that Cornelius Van Til, you have failed miserably on both accusations. Now, do you have a third line of reasoning that Cornelius Van Til was a degenerate?
Wait, so which is it actually?
Okay, I'm going to ask one more time. If you choose to ignore the question and keep on filibustering, you're not going to be removed from being server muted. Do you have any other line of reasoning that Cornelius Van Til was a degenerate?
Yeah, you.
Okay, there we go. Mute his dumbass. We're done. Okay? You know what? You are a vile human being. You know squat diddly about Cornelius Van Til. You've never read any of his works. You've never even read any of the biographies about this man. You can barely even name one name who I've never even heard of who was allegedly a major critic of Van Til. Okay? You haven't read any of the other works of people who were major critics of Van Til. Okay? You're a fake, a phony, and a fraud. And you are a disgrace when you impugn a man who lived and from a human standpoint an impeccable godly life. Was he a perfect man? No, no one is perfect. I don't even agree with him on his Calvinism. But when you sit there and you drop your pants and you defecate and urinate on the memory of, according to everyone who knew this man, that he was godly, and you call him a degenerate, you, sir, are the degenerate. You are a scumbag.
Seconded.
By the way, did you get that, Tom Rabbit?